Hello and welcome, this is ZenTek TV podcast. I'm gonna be doing this every week or around Friday, Saturday. I'm gonna be getting around to do a recap of all the news and events, that were relevant during that week in the world of technology and video games, mainly. And also if during the week, I got around to watch a movie, or something happened that is relevant, I might actually cover it as well. Alright, for this week, well, as you know, if you've been following my channel, I was talking about Guacamelee. It was finally released for the Nintendo Switch. My prayers have been answered. The gods of Drinkbox finally got around to port it to Nintendo Switch. I've been hunting for this game essentially since February, which is the first time I started contacting Drinkbox about it, and also, every so often I was going to GameFAQs and other forums, hoping that somebody might know anything, any leads, especially when Guacamelee 2 came out just a few weeks ago for the PlayStation 4. I was on the fence. I didn't know if I should just cave in, get it on PlayStation 4, and just be done with it. Because deep down there, really what I wanted was just to wait for it till it come out on the Switch. And of course I caved because it's a game that it's dear to me, not only because I'm Mexican, it's just a really good game. The art design is great, the music is awesome, the game mechanics, the Metroidvania concept, the progression, the leveling up, the jokes, it's hilarious, the costumes are colorful, the dialogue is witty and just funny. It's not just cheap Mexican stereotype jokes, it goes a little bit further than that, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, as a Mexican, of course, I'm not gonna be offended. Oh, it's cultural appropriation or any stupid stuff like that. I'm actually glad, that the Mexican culture and the ancient civilizations in Mexico are getting some kind of attention, even if it's in the form of a video game. I think it's quite special. And this game is awesome. I mean, all that would be nothing if the gameplay was bad, but in fact, this game is fantastic. I played it in the Vita for the first time, and then I got it on the PlayStation 4 when it came out for free, quotes, with the PSN. This is almost 4 years ago, and I quite enjoyed it. I beat it twice, the regular version and then the Super Turbo Championship Edition, which the name is hilarious, by the way. It's like making a gag out of the Street Fighter games. With every time they release a new game, they were just adding more and more epic words to the title. But this game was great, and I'm so happy that it finally came to the Switch. Of course, as a good Nintendo Switch release, there was no coverage. I didn't know it was gonna come out. It was a surprise. I mean, I kind of like and hate this, that, sometimes really good big games are not announced. And when they're announced, sometimes it's just like, yeah, actually it's ready by tomorrow, tonight, you can play it tonight, kind of thing. Because that way there's no agony in waiting. There's something about the agony of waiting for a game that you want, but it's coming in 2019 or like in 2 years from now, something like that. The fact that it's coming, but it's still gonna take so long. For some people that might be the way to go, but for me, I think sometimes I'd rather have the surprise that just one day, hey, by the way, it's ready. Just go and play, and that's your weekend right there. And this is what happened with Guacamelee. So I'm so happy, but nobody could tell me that it was gonna come out until randomly I was browsing on the eShop, and there it was, the first result, Guacamelee for the Nintendo Switch. And on top of this, to add more excitement to the news, is that Guacamelee 2 is actually gonna be released in December. So it's already almost mid-October, so we're talking about in a short few weeks, we're gonna be able to have the two of them on your Nintendo Switch. I'm really hoping there's going to be a physical release of this, because I love physical versions of the game. Well, if you've seen my channel, you've seen my background, I really like to collect, the boxes, the art, the actual cartridges or discs. I've been doing that since I was a little boy. It's just like, that's the way I like to do it. And I know the trend at large is going digital. And yeah, of course, I do have a lot of digital games as well. And in fact, I do acknowledge the convenience of it is great. I don't have to look for the game cartridge, swap it, turn it on, just you do save a few minutes. And the fact as well that if you do lose your physical copy, then you lost the game. I mean, you might not lose your save states, but you do lose the game. Whereas if, you erase your digital copies for whatever reason, then you can just re-download anytime. So the convenience is there. It's just that I think, for me at least, physical is still the way to go. And I know it's a dying trend, maybe in 20 years people won't even have that option. Maybe 20 years it might be a little too far, it's maybe in 5 years we'll start to see a very drastic decreasing in the availability of physical games, which I think is going to be a sad day, but hey, we can only but move forward. And so, yeah, if you're a Guacamelee fan, that's the news for you of the week. You can now get Guacamelee 1 on your Nintendo Switch, and in December, Drinkbox is going to bring it to us, Guacamelee 2. So stay tuned for that. And then also on the news of the Nintendo Switch, if you have been a member of the online service that they just started last month, well, you should be able to have access to the NES Virtual Console, which is nothing like the Virtual Console in other previous consoles, like it was in the Wii U or in the Wii or in the Nintendo 3DS, in which you could actually choose which games you wanted to buy and download them, and that's it, you own them, you can just play them whenever you want. On the Nintendo Switch Online, with all the controversy that is coming on that front, well, one of the problems is that, Nintendo's just going to choose for you which games you're going to be receiving. And to start with, we had 20 games. 20 games, half of which are really good games, are classics. The other half, I think I could have chosen different ones, to be honest. And no SNES, no Nintendo 64, no nothing else. And we have no news whatsoever of if and when we're gonna get games of the other consoles on Nintendo. So that's a little bit of a bummer right there. But anyway, every month the deal was that every month we're gonna be getting 3 new NES games as part of this service. And for this month of October, on the 10th, we got Solomon's Key, Dodgeball, and Golf. Golf, for me, it was a very mediocre game. I mean, I don't like golf, I suppose if you do like golf and you played it back in the day, you might have some attachment to it. It might be fun. The graphics are surprisingly kind of cool, for an NES game. So, might as well just check it out since it's already there in your collection. Solomon's Key, if you're into puzzling games, that was a good game back in the day. I don't think it holds up very well today. So it's not one of those NES games that really makes you want to play today, unless, again, you had some connection to it when you were a little boy and you played it, and there's the element of reward when you beat a puzzle and it stays with you, right? We humans like to beat puzzles. Our brain like to solve puzzles, and we made dopamine when you get happy about something you accomplish. So maybe back in the day, that game was releasing some dopamine back in the day for those boys playing that game, boys and girls, of course. And the next game was Dodgeball. So Dodgeball is great. It's actually a lot of fun. It's very off-putting at first because of the flickering. The flickering, which was very common back in the day with the NES games. I remember games such as Double Dragon. The moment you had a few enemies on the screen, the NES memory limitation started to show. And so the buffer of the memory had to be shared among different sprites. And so either you have one or the other on the screen displayed. And Dodgeball, well, you have quite a bit of characters displayed at once. And I suppose the design could have been a little bit better in order to avoid that. But it is a fun game. If you can put up with the flickering, if you're not going to get any kind of seizure for, watching the screen flicker like that all the time, constantly, because it's non-stop, then it's a fun game. It's a good addition to the NES library. And finally, and what I made a video about this the other day in my channel was that without any notice, without any warning, Nintendo decided to release The Legend of Zelda SP. And if you follow my channel, you know that I'm the biggest fan of this Zelda, this Link, the 8-bit classic, the very first Zelda. It has a really special place in my heart. I obviously beat it a million times. The first quest, the second quest. I have the yellow test cartridge, which is quite rare. It took me years to find one, and it's probably the jewel of my collection. I really love this game. I remember, I had to paint a house in order to make money to buy the game. I had to do a little bit of different chores and earn my money back in the day to get that game. So I suppose that's part of why I'm so attached to this game. Anyway, so when I saw The Legend of Zelda SP, I got excited for a moment because if you know the ROM scene, you know that there's a lot of new ROMs, during the last few years that people have developed, fans and people who know how to program assembly. They have given themselves to the task to add new levels, to do randomizers. Randomizers work in the way that you start the Zelda game, but everything is in a different location every time. So every time you play the game, you don't have any idea where anything is. Now, the bushes are the same ones that you can burn, the caves are the same ones that you can bomb, but the contents of, those passages or those caves are different every time. So where a potion shop was originally now could be the level 7, so to speak. So that is quite amazing. And it's funny because there's also a category of speedrunners that run the randomizer. So you don't know what's coming, and that's quite amazing that you can actually speedrun the game under such circumstances. It's quite impressive. So I thought maybe something like that. Nintendo actually gave themselves to the task to polish this game somehow, or maybe add some elements of multiplayer, because now this is what the service is all about, right? Co-op multiplayer. I mean, you can't really do two-player co-op Zelda, right? You have to share the control, like wait for one to die and then the other player will pick up the control and keep going. So I don't know, a few things, flashed through my head while I was about to open the game. Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, it's not good at all. I mean, it's just nothing interesting, really. It's really what it is just a save state of the original regular game. So if you click on the game, the moment you click on the game, you are just immediately placed on the starter screen, where you would get the wooden sword. In this case, though, the cave is empty because you already have not only the wooden sword, you have the white sword. Plus, you have 255 rupees and 8 bombs and 9 keys, and you have the magical shield. You have arrows. You have the meat. You have the bracelet. You have the blue candle, and I think you have 5 or 6 hearts. And so basically, what they did is that they went around, collected everything that you can collect, maxed it out before you actually go into a dungeon. So you don't have any pieces of the Triforce, but you are in the best possible shape that you could be before you actually step into level 1. And on top of that, all the caves are revealed, or all the stairways that you have to burn, the bushes to reveal are already displayed. So you don't have to waste your time or your resources bombing everything, burning bushes endlessly, because everything is already there, right? I mean, it's revealed, however, the contents are there. So even though you have maxed out rupees, you can walk into these caves in which sometimes you get lucky and people give you money. Well, I mean, the guys are still there, but you already have 255 rupees. And considering that you already have the blue ring, which is the most expensive item in the game, and you also have the magical shield, which can be quite pricey if you don't know where the best deal is at. Well, that means that you are going to be a little bit, you're swimming in cash. I don't even know how you could spend your money, maybe buying a bunch of potions if you're really bad at the game. I guess it could happen. Or if you're using the bow and arrow, because as you know, in this game, each arrow costs a rupee. So yeah, that's an interesting mechanic that you have. So as long as you have rupees, you have arrows. And yeah, so basically there's no intro to the game. Like, there's no the intro screen, the amazing intro screen with the amazing tune. It's not there. It's just literally you click on the game and you're just flashed into the first screen, which is quite disorienting. I thought it was a glitch. The moment I pressed on the game, I thought it was a glitch. What's happening? Okay, well, I start playing and I move around and confused. Why do I have all this? I thought maybe one of my own save states from the actual Legend of Zelda had somehow mixed with the game, because I've been playing. I beat the first quest and I am at the last castle, at the last level of the second quest. So I've been playing it, and I do have some save states from those games in the original one inside the NES retro console. But no, this was it. This was it, and it was a little bit disappointing and underwhelming. I suppose I understand that maybe because this is a cryptic game. This is a game that was released in 1984. So before, obviously, way before the internet, back in the day, maybe you had, if you were lucky and you lived in the United States, you might have Nintendo Power. Other than that, really, it was just what other kids who had the game might actually be able to share, during recess at school. That's all the information you had access to, plus your own ability to find things. And this game, there's not much explanations. The hints of the characters placed along the map are not really all that great. They're quite cryptic as well, and some of them are, just don't make any sense because they're translated from Japanese, and the translation isn't all that good. So beating this game, in a legit way, back in the day, it was a feat of patience and a feat of skill. It was a quite difficult game because if you go into the later dungeons, especially with the wizard robes, oh my god! And if you're not prepared for that, then you're not gonna do well. You're not gonna do well, and you're gonna get frustrated. And that's pretty much what happened with most people who play this game back in the day. But today, people don't have time for that. People don't have time to use the blue candle to burn all bushes and waste bombs when you have no clue where a cave is gonna reveal or a passage in a dungeon. There's no hints whatsoever. In A Link to the Past, you had some cracks in the wall. If you hit the wall with your sword, it would make a hollow sound. So you would know for sure that if you place a bomb there, it will not be wasted because something is gonna be revealed. Whereas you didn't have that at all in the NES version. So yeah, this game is a love-hate relationship. And I suppose if you're gonna be showing this game to newer gamers, to the next generation, and this next generation are used to be more in control of what's happening, they would like more direction, and understandably so. They're not used to that, so they might need this boost in the beginning to actually make them want to finish the game, to play through it. Because if people are not going to be interested in playing it, if they never played it back in the day, it's a little bit of a waste. It's a shame because it's I don't know, maybe it's my nostalgia goggles. I love this game. It's a good game. For the time, it was amazing. It just blew my mind. I couldn't believe that world existed within that cartridge. It was a weird feeling, and the cartridge itself was golden. So it's just something magical about that game. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's good for you if you never played this game. If you're a veteran of the game, I don't think it's gonna do much for you. You probably would just want to stick to the regular Legend of Zelda version. Alright, and then, yeah, last weekend I went to see Venom, the movie with Tom Hardy. I liked it enough. I thought it was entertaining. I learned about Venom a bit more. It is weird to me, though, that this is a movie in which, Venom is the main character. And Spider-Man is not around. Like in this universe, it's not even mentioned, so that's kind of weird to me that this is a thing. And I understand this has to do with copyrights and who owns the rights of who, or Spider-Man is busy right now with Marvel and all these things, and it's just weird. But in the other hand, you give Venom and Tom Hardy the time to shine, to really show what this character is all about. And because the movie is not R-rated, they didn't do a death pool for this one. They are aware that, kids might watch this movie. I think the violence was toned down quite a bit. You don't see any blood. You don't see any gore. Obviously, no sex or anything like that in the whole movie. And so I think, it's a missed opportunity. I think the movie would have been better as an M-rated movie. But however, I understand that this is a decision that has to do with money, right? So maybe the producers thought that they would make more money if they actually make a movie that is actually for kids, for the family, so to speak. Whereas, Deadpool has shown that that's not necessarily the case. But anyway, they like to play it safe, and I think that's the result is that it's a good enough movie. It's not a great movie. The interaction between Tom Hardy and Venom are just amazing. That is the best part of the movie. It's hilarious. And in fact, I got to learn more about what Venom is. Like, who is he? Like, he considers himself a loser in his planet. And I don't want to spoil it too much for you. That's the reason why he has a change of heart mid-movie. And then he kind of becomes a good guy, right? Because he's normally the villain, but now, you know, he is a kind of like a good bad guy in the end of the movie. So I won't spoil it too much for you. If you like Venom, if you like the Spider-Man universe, check it out. Check it out. I think you'll have a good time. He's definitely not going to be winning any Oscars or anything like that whatsoever. But, so you know, it's there. It's a movie that you might not remember, you know, a few weeks after you watch it. But while you're watching it, it is good enough. It is good enough. The bad guy was terrible. I think that was the weakest point of the movie for me. He didn't do much for me. He wasn't menacing. He didn't have a commanding presence. He seemed like a pushover for the most part. When he has a transformation, which I won't go too much into it because this is not necessarily a spoiler review, it does get a little bit better. And definitely stay for the credits, because after that there's a reveal that is important, and if you don't want to hear what the reveal is, maybe just kind of skip forward for 20 seconds from now on. It's quickly revealed that Carnage might be coming up on the next movie, and I think all that is riding on the success of this movie. If this movie manages to, you know, hit big numbers and there's interest, I suppose the logical step forward will be to make a movie with Carnage. But again, if Spider-Man is not going to be there, it's just weird. It's just like a big... It's like the elephant in the room that is not there, so to speak. Alright, so that was Venom. And then on the next news from the PlayStation 4 front, now we have that Sony has announced the ability to change your ID name, right? So maybe that doesn't sound very important or interesting at all, but the thing is that this ability is an ability that Xbox players have had forever. And if your PlayStation username was Mikey12345, you know, 10 years ago, and you hate it, but all your trophies and your achievements are there, well, you are still to this day Mikey12345, and that's it. But now Sony has announced that they will give you the ability to change this. The first change is going to be free. If you need to change again, it's going to be $10. Of course, they have to make some money out of these changes, because why not? And if you are a PlayStation Plus member, the change costs $5. So if you're dying to change your ID, soon you'll be able to. There's a few caveats in this, that not all games will be compatible with this name change. Only games released after April 1st, 2018, which is a little bit weird. And most PlayStation 3 and Vita games might not be compatible for the same reason with this name change. So, you know, a half-ass measure maybe, but if you are just only into the latest and the greatest games, then this will probably be a good opportunity for you to get a new PlayStation ID. And speaking of latest and greatest games, there's just a few days, 16 days, till the release of Red Dead Redemption 2, which is going to be released in October 26, 2018. Now, this is one of those games, like I was talking at the beginning of the podcast, that once you know it's coming, is a little bit of a torture for your soul, right? Especially like in this case, that was a delay, right? There was a delay, and then we thought we were going to be playing this game a lot earlier, and by now we would probably be completely done with the game, but no, there was a delay. And, you know, I understand, you know, Rockstar is... It's a category of its own. Rockstar, there's not enough praise we can probably say about this company. It's a juggernaut. It is the only company in the world, as far as I know, that can make one game every 6 to 7 years and be okay. Because the game that they make is not a game, it's more like a platform. And case in point is going to be Grand Theft Auto 5, which maybe you don't know, but is the most commercially successful piece of entertainment in history. So I'm not talking about video games only, I'm talking about movies, I'm talking about books, I'm talking about any form of entertainment that you know has been surpassed by Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, this game's been out there since the PlayStation 3. I actually played it and finished in the PlayStation 3, and then I have it for the PC and have it for PlayStation 4. I didn't finish it again, but it's just, you know, it's just a game that you cannot have it. It's just weird. I wonder if it's gonna come to the Switch one day. Maybe they will. I mean, they release LA Noire, so Rockstar has had a go to the Switch. Unfortunately, not with their best game, so who knows? I don't think Red Dead Redemption is gonna come to the Nintendo Switch, at least not anytime soon, at least not in this iteration of the Nintendo Switch, maybe with the new Nintendo Switch that might come out next year, you know, with the latest news from Nintendo that we don't know much yet, but you know, it's exciting. Maybe we could see some version of Red Dead Redemption 2 on the go. But in the meantime, only if you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One you'll be able to play. Nintendo Switch and PC players are out of luck. I suppose PC players are probably the ones who have the most right to complain about it. Imagine how that game would look on a buffed rig. If you have a PC in your home that is a mammoth, which a lot of gamers have, that game will look incredible. It's just the next level. They just raised the bar 10 notches in true Rockstar form. This game is just going to be setting a lot of new benchmarks and a lot of new normals, perhaps, for future generations of games. And so, very excited to hear everything that you will be able to do in this game. So, just quickly, I'm just going to recap some of the things that you will be able to go. So, Arthur is the name of the main character, and you can actually choose to be a baddie if you want. You have your gang, and you can participate in heists. You can hold up stores, you can, you know, kidnap people, you can, and you know, if you're a baddie, you're gonna be place a bounty on your head. So if you're just, you know, galloping around the world by yourself, you might be actually intercepted by people actually trying to kill you for the bounty, which is kind of funny, you know, it's weird. It's probably the 5-star kind of equivalent to this game, you know, of, when you're being looked by the police. And here it's probably more like bounty hunters are gonna be following and targeting you as you go. So in this game, again, you can actually be in your gang, or you can actually just go on your own, explore, you know, especially if you don't have a bounty on your head, you might actually get further in the world. And also, yeah, you will have the red eye targeting system in which you slow down time, which we had in Red Dead Redemption 1. And I love that effect. I mean, never got old, and it's really useful and perhaps mandatory for some portions in the game. You can choose what to wear, what to ride, what to eat, which guns to carry. You choose if you shave or bathe or you don't. And you can actually partake into activities such as poker gaming, fishing, dancing, wood chopping. You know, you can actually chase bounties if you're the one, you know, interested in making money out of killing baddies. You can fight in duels, you can watch shows, and of course your behavior will have consequences and people will remember you for better or for worse. So you have to be mindful of that through the whole game. And you can also explore this game in first-person mode. So, you know, I think everything that we need to know, everything that could be said about this game has been said and presented to us. I don't want any other trailer. I don't want any more information. You know, I just want to wait till the 26th. I'm going to be buying this game for the PlayStation 4 Pro. I have an OLED TV that I just can't wait to get lost in this amazing game. Alright guys, well I hope you like. This is the first podcast for ZenTek TV. You can watch me on a ZenTek TV channel in YouTube. I'm gonna link this in the description. Find me on Facebook, find me in social media, Twitter, Instagram. I'm gonna be very active from now on. So I hope you like it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you wanted to talk about. I'm gonna be covering mainly technology and the world of video game related news and events. And some parts of my, private life, personal life, I will share here and there during the podcast. I'm also a programmer. I'm getting into Unity and Python, so I might have some tutorials down the road. But anyway, hope you like it. I'll see you later. Take care. And this is Carlos for ZenTek TV podcast. Bye bye.